Hey Canucks fans, Brandon Sutter returns to the lineup tonight. What will you bring to the Canucks? I'm Clay Emo, I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter. I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram. I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club. And this is my Canucks take, all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Thursday, January the 16th. I'm pretty darn excited to be going to tonight's game. I haven't been in the arena to watch a Canucks game since almost a month. It was actually December the 19th, that exciting win against Vegas. So since then, I've missed, an Oilers home game, a Penguins home game, an LA Kings home game. I think there's a Rangers one in there and a Chicago, that crazy 7-5 victory. So I haven't been to the arena in basically a month. So I'm excited to spend some quality time with my son, Sean. We'll be going to the game together. So if you're around at the game, I'm in my usual seats in section 319. Hopefully to see you during an intermission, before or after the game. Happy to say hello and chat some Canucks. Tonight, the big news, Brandon Sutter returns to the lineup. He's been off for a couple months or so. I don't know the exact time. But it's really interesting with Brandon Sutter because he's got 2 more years. He's got this year and 1 more year. So he's basically got into his second to last year right now on his contract. Pays him $4.375 million a year. So that's a lot when you consider how much he missed, how much time he misses with injuries, hernia, and this latest one, a back, lower body injury all the time. And the fact that he was only playing on the 3rd or 4th line. And tonight he's playing on the 4th line. He's going to be playing with Jay Beagle and Tyler Mott. So I'll get to that in a second, and we'll talk about that line in a second. The Canucks lineup looks to be the exact same as they've been playing recently, except for Brandon Sutter coming in for Tim Schaller. So you have your Lotto line of Pettersson, Miller, and Besser. You have Horvat playing with Pearson and Eriksson. 3rd line of Gaudette, Vertan, and Roussel. And 4th line now, Beagle, Sutter, and Mott. Then on D, today they practiced with Edler with Stetcher once again. The last few games has been Edler, Myers, Tanev, Hughes, and then Fantenberg with Stetcher. But today, instead of Edler, Myers, they had Edler and Stetcher paired in practice, and they did that for a while. They were doing that for a little while, and then of course you still have Hughes and Tanev, and then that would mean the 3rd pairing would be then Fantenberg and Myers instead of Fantenberg and Stetcher. So either way, you expect that Chris Tanev and Quinn Hughes will still play together because that's been a solid pairing all season. And just really a matter of who they want to play with Alex Edler. Do you put Troy Stetcher up there and it becomes more balanced, or do you put Tyler Myers up there and then Fantenberg Stetcher is your true 3rd pair? Regardless, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Edler's played with both guys, Stetcher and Myers, a lot in the past, and maybe Travis Green's looking to just switch things up after that 4-0 loss in Winnipeg. Although, defensive play was just okay. It wasn't horrible. It was more the Canucks' inability to put a puck by that brick wall called Connor Hellebuyck in the last game. And then Jacob Markstrom starts the net once again. I hope Demko gets some games coming up soon, but I anticipate Markstrom playing today, then Demko getting Saturday night against San Jose, and then Markstrom can then have extra time off before the All-Star festivities next weekend in St. Louis. So let's talk about Brandon Sutter. $4.375 million for this season, the remainder of the season, and next season. Modified no trade clause. So that usually means you can give a list of 10 or 15 teams that you cannot be traded to. So that's interesting. And but the most important thing to me is, where does he fit into this lineup? Because if you like the way that Adam Gaudette is playing in the 3rd line center role, and you do like the way Jay Beagle is playing in the 4th line center, well, then where does Brandon Sutter fit in? There's a couple of ways to look at it. Today he's playing as a 4th line winger, and my hunch though is that's only to get him reacclimated into the lineup, that's get his skating legs underneath him, and maybe because the Canucks are okay with what Gaudette and Beagle have been doing. Gaudette's, he's kind of scores in bunches, but he's been playing relatively well, and he's really improving in the face-off circle, so that's a good thing for him. And then for the 4th line, it's interesting. Beagle, Mott, and Schaller, sometimes they do really well, but sometimes they get caved in on their possession numbers. So it's really hit and miss, feast or famine with that 4th line. But I definitely think that Brandon Sutter is, it makes sense for him to start on the 4th line. And you can really, if you disrupt the 4th line, it will cause the least ripple effect, the least disruption throughout the lineup. And maybe there was some thought of putting him up on the 2nd line and taking Louis Eriksson out, but Eriksson's played very well actually with Horvat and Pearson, and he's played well defensively. He's chipped in with a couple goals, a few assists, and we know that the Canucks have only lost once in regulation when Louis Eriksson does score a goal. So maybe Travis Green didn't want to disrupt the 2nd line of Horvat, Pearson, Eriksson, and thus Brandon Sutter comes in. I still think when Michael Ferland ever gets healthy, I think he's the one that's going to displace Louis Eriksson from that 2nd line, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So Brandon Sutter, do you find him like a a Jay Beagle light, or is Jay Beagle a Brandon Sutter light? It doesn't matter who's the light and who's the heavy. They're both, I've often said, they're both very similar, almost redundant players. They're good defensively, they're good in the face-off circle, which is very important for a center, but they're not going to give you much in terms of offense. I would argue that Brandon Sutter probably has more offensive upside than Jay Beagle, but maybe we're splitting hairs at that point. So really then, do you choose only one, or Sutter or Beagle eventually, because you have Adam Gaudette? Or do you see Adam Gaudette coming out of the lineup a couple times now as a healthy scratch if they want to get Sutter and Beagle in there? At first I'd say you need Sutter because of the penalty kill, but they've done okay without him. With JT Miller playing on the penalty kill, then you have, of course, Mott or Schaller when he's in the lineup. Beagle, they can all kill penalties. Roussel can kill penalties. Louis Eriksson can kill penalties. So they haven't really missed Brandon Sutter's penalty killing as much as I thought they might. What I see happening is I think Brandon Sutter's leadership, the fact that he's an associate captain, or assistant captain, I'm not sure what the A stands for exactly, but I don't think you can underestimate that. You can't simply dismiss that. So I don't see the Canucks trying to trade him unless they get something back for him that's too hard to pass up. But I don't think his value is that high right now. He's missed so many games of this regular season. Although there might be a team that wants some veteran leadership for a playoff run, of course, if one of those teams isn't on his no-trade list, so to speak. So I'd love to know what you guys think with Brandon Sutter. What do you think is going to happen for not just tonight, but more importantly, down the road? Is he ultimately going to displace an Adam Gaudette or Jay Beagle from the lineup and go back to center, playing his natural position? Or do you see him filling in on the wing, either the third or likely the fourth line, spelling off guys there as opposed to coming in as a center? And do you like his leadership? What do you think of his leadership? Do you think the Canucks are a better team with him or without him? All those things. I'm really curious to see how he does that. I like him a lot as a person. I've met him a few times. But you could argue that because he's missed so much time, we don't really know how good he can be on the ice. And I hope for his sake and for the team's sake that he remains healthy for the next little bit and we get to see an extended run of Brandon Sutter, whether that's in the middle or on the wing. So Canucks fans, let me know what you think. And like I said, I'll be at the game tonight, so please say hi if you're there. Come say hi to Canucks Sean as well. And we'd love to chat Canucks with you either before or after the game or during the intermissions, somewhere in the concourse somewhere. Looking forward to a big game because Arizona, Vancouver, 3 points apart in the standings. Canucks have 2 games in hand, but we know all 5 teams, Arizona, Calgary, Vegas, Vancouver, Edmonton, all 5 teams are within 3 points of one another in the standings, so every game is massive. This is the first of 4 meetings over the next 3 months between the Vancouver Canucks and the Arizona Coyotes. The Coyotes owned us last year. I think they won all the games against us last year, so hopefully it's different this year. So I'm excited. I hope you are too. Big game, and then after tonight's game, I'll turn all my attention to Saturday's game, Lunar New Year, teaming up with TD Canada, but we'll worry about that starting tomorrow. So enjoy the game. Leave a comment below. I love to read, react to, imply. Subscribe if you like to. Like this video if you like to. Enjoy the game. Tweet at me. I'll be tweeting from the game, and we'll go from there. God bless. Go Canucks, go.